Good morning, good morning. We are ready to get started. If everybody can find a seat, please. All right, welcome this morning on a Wednesday morning to 1 Million Cups Dallas. Is there anyone that's here that is here for the first time? Show of hands, anyone here for the first time? Okay, so we do have some first time to 1 Million Cups Dallas. Welcome. Well, 1 Million Cups Dallas, or 1 Million Cups in general, is a national program that is put on by the Kaufman Foundation. And it's done Wednesday mornings across the country in a lot of different cities. So you're part of a bigger community that's helping to support entrepreneurs in our area and across the country. So 1 Million Cups, we have an app. So if you haven't downloaded our app yet, please take out your smartphone, download 1 Million Cups. It's the #1 if you search for it in the App Store. And what that will allow you to do is check in so that we can see who's here. And you'll also be able to give feedback and comments to the presenters. Now the presenters will have 6 minutes to present their companies to you, and then we're going to do a question and answer or feedback session. So you'll be able to give comments to them or ask questions that you'd like to ask of them. But we do encourage you to give feedback on the app as well. So maybe if we didn't get to your question, or you have something that you might have a comment that you may not want to go public or hear or something like that, and you didn't have a chance to connect with them, you can certainly do that through the app. So today, our program, we're going to have 2 companies. Our first company is Venues and More, and so we have a tradition here where we all stand and welcome and give a round of applause for our first presenter. So please welcome Laura Alatabi.
Hi guys, thank you for that standing ovation. It makes me feel very welcome. I'm here to present my company, Venues and More. This started about 2 years ago. It was an idea, right? That's how all good companies started. You have an idea and you think, I'm going to disrupt the party market. And so that's basically how it started. It was an idea. It was around this time, around spring break time, and I have 3 kids, and I had to book a birthday party. And it's frustrating when you're working full time. You don't have time to call a venue, fill out a form, wait for them to call you back. It's very inconvenient. And so I was sitting outside with my brother, and I said, something has to change. This is so ridiculous that I have to wait for somebody to call me back about availability for booking a birthday party. I didn't understand why it's so difficult. If you want to, book a flight, you don't wait for the airline to call you back with availability. You go on many different websites. You can go on AA.com, you can go on Priceline.com. There are many to choose from. But I found with booking a birthday party, there was no choices available other than your standard Google, which didn't help me book it. That just kind of gave me some information. And so that's basically the idea behind Venues and More. It's more of like an Airbnb for birthday parties, and it allows consumers to book parties instantly. A little bit about me. I told you that I have 3 kids. I actually have triplets, and so you can see my frustration. I only have 1 party to book, and I hated booking it. How difficult could that be? But I just found it so frustrating. So my kids are 7 years old now, and still booking birthday parties. And in fact, that's on my agenda for next week, is booking their birthday party. I was a former teacher. I taught in Richardson ISD, which is just up the road, as well as Lovejoy ISD, which is a little bit north of here, 4th, 5th, and 6th grade. I wanted to spend more time with my kids. I was the first one there at school at 7 a.m. My kids were with me, of course, because they went to the same school. And I was the last one to leave, 4:35 p.m. I couldn't, take them to gymnastics because I couldn't make it to the 5:15 gymnastics. So I just figured something has to give. I've always had an interest in owning my own business, and so I just combined a great idea with a need, and that's how Venues and More was born. A little bit more about what Venues and More offers. We have everything that you might need for a party. Of course, we have big venue spaces. Some of the venue spaces you're not able to find anywhere else except for on my site. I'll give you a couple of examples. There's a really cute coffee shop in downtown McKinney, it's north of here, and they close at 4. Well, they're missing out on that revenue, especially they're in downtown McKinney. So there are lots of, it's a lot of things going on, there's lots of restaurants, it's really a vibrant area. And so he listed his space on my site to book for weddings, business meetings, small parties, things like that. He's not found anywhere else on the internet except for my site. So we have venue spaces anywhere from $25 an hour up to $2,500 an hour. So it's truly a marketplace. You can choose what you need based on your budget. We also have turnkey party packages. This is my favorite. So this would be like Clay Street and Irving. They're listed on my site. For X amount of dollars, you can bring 15 to 20 kids to their place, have a birthday party, and you have that space for an entire hour and a half for the birthday party. So what I love about this is it's kind of like Google, because it gives you all the results of what's available in the area, but it also makes the packages bookable. So if you wanted this bounce house down the street, you can see, oh, what does Laura have on there? We have a bounce and tumble party, maybe you want that. What's cool about my site is I've found some really great deals for birthday parties, and that is what's been really driving demand. There's a few bowling alleys that have birthday parties for $90. You can have a birthday party for 2 hours. Come on, when does that ever happen? By the way, that's bookable for adults too. It doesn't have to be kids. We also have like chef party, Paula Dean's restaurant in Fairview, Texas. It's brand new, and they have a restaurant. And sorry, I'm just on my 1 minute. And they have chef parties, and so for adults and for kids. So basically, I explained that the old way of booking birthday parties is to pick up the phone. The new way is to just click book now on my website. The business confirms it within 24 hours, and then your party is booked. This is an example of a listing. You can see it on the map. You can contact them if you have any questions about it. What you can't see is underneath the pictures, there's description. So it tells you exactly what's going to happen. I got some feedback about my last million cups, about the history of Venues More. It's only 6 months old. And so we've been growing very rapidly, and I've been doing everything I can to kind of facilitate the growth of Venues and More. I started a podcast called Party Planning Radio, and that's where I interview different venues that are on the site. So it's just a really neat avenue. I've been doing expos. I go and talk to mom groups to kind of spread the word. I have a meetup. I'm doing a lot of things. So anyways, I would love to take your questions. Thank you guys so much for letting me do this.
Thank you so much for your presentation.
Thank you.
This is the part of the show where we open up the floor for questions from the audience. We do ask that you wait until the microphone comes around because we're recording this and we want to pick up your question so you can watch the video later on. Our first question to you is always, what can we as a community do for you?
So I've had this question before, and so that's how I have the slide up. First and foremost, check out Venues and More and just let me know what you think. Do you think we need to add something? Is something missing? Do you like it? What kind of vendors would you like to see on there? That's the number one thing that I would say. If you are planning a party in the upcoming year, Click sign up on my website and you will get weekly emails of new venues that have signed up. And so that's kind of the fun part on Sunday, like you just see the list of venues that have signed up on the site. And then the last thing you can do is to refer your friends and family to Venues and More. Hey, I'm planning a party, and they have that look on their face, the one that I used to have. And just say, hey, go to Venues and More. It makes it easier.
Great, excellent. If you have a question, raise your hand and I'll come bring you the microphone.
So how are you generating revenue? Are you charging the user, or are you charging the venue, or is it just a commission? How's that work?
How it's set up now is not how it's going to be later on down the road. My vision is to have a subscription model to where they pay X amount per month on the business side. And so that way we kind of have a constant stream of revenue. And then we don't have to worry about if they pick up the phone and say, hey, I just found your party on Venues and More, which happens a lot. Because like I said, some venues, it's the only place that you can find the birthday party is on my website. So if they call, they know it's through Venues and More. So that is my goal. The current model right now is a percentage of the birthday party, 5% on the business side, as well as 5% on the consumer side. So the same fee that you would pay if you were booking an Airbnb or a VRBO, that's the same fee that we have in place.
Thank you, Laura, for your presentation. My question, this is regarding, this is a platform more or less, and a key element of success in platforms is identifying friction points and removing them. What has your experience been in terms of where you think there's some friction that you need to pay attention to and remove as you
Sure. So part of the, I would say my biggest friction point would be the venue response. I notice, when customers say, hey, I want to book this bowling party, on this day. But sometimes the venue owners are busy. They have their own venues. And so I'm working on version 2 of the website where it ties in with our API where it automatically books it. So the same kind of infrastructure that like Priceline ties into American Airlines and they get their inventory. So that's what I'm looking at creating for version 2 of my website where it's just seamless. You pay your $50 or $100 a month for the subscription, I tie into your API and I drive business for you.
And on the other side of the platform, the consumer, other than the typical customer acquisition effort that you're going to have to make, what other frictions do you see?
For the consumer, it's just let's say you're planning a party. You're probably only going to plan maybe 2 parties a year. So for me, I need to get a lot of consumers on there if you're only going to plan a couple of parties a year. But my target right now is to reach those busy moms, just the same position that I was in. You're busy, you don't have time to call the venue, it's just easier to book it online. And so for them, and I live out in Allen, and so they have more than 1 kid. And so the frequency of them using the site would be more. Yeah.
All right, so I think you did an awesome job.
Thank you so much.
My wife just did a birthday party for my son, and I know she would really love your site. But my question is, it seems pretty awesome, like Airbnb venues pretty much. So my question is really what's the competition like? Are you the only one out there that's doing that? And if so, I think you need to try to scale it as much as possible, as fast as possible. But really, what is the competition like in your field?
There's no website competition. The only competition that exists is directly calling the venue. And so we try to remove all the contact information from the listing. Like if there's a phone number on the listing, I automatically go in and remove it. So that way they kind of funnel through our platform. And to get to your point about scaling it, I also have the same sense of urgency. I grow my baby. And so I'm looking at doing, having different representatives in different areas. And so for me right now, I've been working on this for 6 months. I'm writing down what works, what doesn't work, and I want to try to scale that. So when I hire somebody in Austin, so that's the next city I want to launch in. When I hire somebody in Austin, they can do the same exact things that I'm doing and just spread, because I realize I'm just one person, and if I wanted to spread to different cities, I would definitely need that help. So I'm looking at rolling out that model soon. Thank you.
My question is, and again, great presentation. I got married about 6 months ago, and I was looking for venues, and it was such a pain in the butt to be finding
It's
something.
such a hassle. I don't know
why.
It's
the worst. My question to you is, and I know you've been at this for 6 months, but what do you see happening in the next 5 years?
So I have huge dreams for it, of course, and I'm just trying to do everything and all the avenues to get there. So in 5 years, I would like to see it. So right now we have 130 listings. That includes venues, party packages, balloons, cakes, caterers, everything you might need for a party. And I have a goal of getting to 300, and then the sky is the limit. But I'm constantly pushing myself to make the site bigger and better. Like I said, I'm working on version 2 where it just books the parties automatically, which I think would remove that friction from the business owner and the site. And so I'm just going to grow it as big as it can grow. I don't see a limit for it. I want to be like an Airbnb for birthday parties. Like if you're booking a party of any kind, a quinceanera, a wedding, a birthday party, I want everybody to think of Venues and More. Thank you.
Hi, Laura. I thought it was a great idea. So you mentioned growing more on the supplier side through having reps. What's your plan to grow more awareness among the consumers? I know you mentioned like mommy groups, like through word of mouth, but do you have other plans to spread awareness among like people who would book parties?
I would say that the #1 thing that I'm doing right now is the podcast. The podcast spreads awareness like no other. Last month we had users from 35 countries on our platform, and our inventory is only in Dallas. How would 35 countries know about my website in Dallas? It's only through the podcast. And so I'm trying to reach them where they are. So doing different expos, and the first expo I did, it was all about, is this a good idea? Do you like it? Could you use it? What feedback do you have? And I got the most positive feedback. It was from, it was a camp expo. Moms with multiple kids just really validated the idea for me. And so the next expo I have will be generating the users or the signups on the site.
I see. And then as far as the packages go, like is it something along the lines of like I have a cake vendor, I have a balloon vendor, I have like a location, and then you can book all 3 separately as one package? Is that your idea?
Eventually, right now you would have to book those vendors separately, but eventually I would want to create different packages and different experiences. That would be awesome.
Hi, thank you for the presentation. I think you did a great job. I really like the name of the company. It's very
Thank you so much. That was, I think, the hardest part.
Yeah, always is. So I have a couple of questions about competition.
Yeah.
There are billions of websites out there,
yes.
And everybody wants to be the Airbnb of something. It's very hard to believe that you don't have competition, and even if you don't have direct competition, your competition is whatever people are using now, right? So you have to figure out what you're going to do to bring those people into your platform. The other thing is, you have a two-sided market, and it's always a chicken and egg problem, right? So people need venues and venues need people, right? Which one are you going to tackle first? How are you going to do it? And secondly, is how you're going to scale the word of mouth in general, right? Doing expos and everything is great. Like today, I think you're going to have a lot of people giving you feedback, but that is something that doesn't scale, right? So how do you go from whatever bookings you have now to 10x that, and in what time?
Right, and I definitely have that goal to go to 10x. I agree with you, the chicken and the egg, because once you have a platform, you want to share it with everybody. But if you only have 30 listings on there, nobody's going to find a 2-year-old birthday party. And let's say I don't have inventory for a 2-year-old birthday party for Dallas. So you're going to go to somewhere else. And so for me, I want to get up to 300 listings in the DFW area and then start to kind of mass market. I also have a lot of press, which I didn't mention earlier. I've been getting in the newspaper. This is in Colin Child. I was able to, and by the way, this is a free magazine that goes out to all doctors and dentists' office in Collin County. And so this is a write-up about what I do all day. Of course I mention the podcast. Of course I mention Venues and More. Of course I mention my kids. I mean, so I'm trying to go about that avenue, and so for me, I'm just trying to get in different press. I was also featured in Allen American and the Plano Courier newspaper, and so just trying to get the word out. And I know that expos aren't scalable. That's just kind of a starting point for me.
Hey, I really loved the presentation. It was awesome.
Thank you so much.
Honestly, the business really excites me. It seems like a really cool idea.
Thank you.
My question is kind of twofolded. Like, what would the bread and butter of your market be? And then, actually, it's kind of a separate question. What kind of dimensions does venue take? Is it just like birthday parties, or could it be a hunting trip? Like that type of thing, like there's a lot of leases in Texas. I mean, I'm a hunter, I like that type of thing. So I don't know, like I said, that kind of made me think, I wonder if I could plan a hunting trip on this website or something like that. So what kind of dimensions does venues take?
I definitely don't want to be in competition with Airbnb. I want to be my separate niche. I want to really focus on parties. And when I created it, I was like, oh, everybody's going to jump on my website for birthday parties, but that didn't actually happen. And so the first people who came on were venues, because they already have different websites that they're on, so they understand the value. Hey, cool, here's a new website, we'll jump on. The next people who came on were party entertainers. There are different party sites. Oh, we understand, we'll jump on your site. The last people on my site are birthday packages, because they're like, oh, we have our website. And, to my point, I say, well, American Airlines also has a website, but they also offer their flights on different websites to try to maximize revenue. And so that's the whole point, in Venues and More. And so as far as lodging, I don't see, having lodging on there if you were planning a hunting trip and you needed to stay somewhere. But I'm always looking for unique parties. And so if I find a unique space, a unique party, and especially if it's at a great price, it's going to be on my website, and I'm going to try to hunt it down.
And then I guess just the first question was like, what would the bread and butter be of your customers? Like, what type of people do you find using the services on your website? So
when I built it, I imagine it's for that busy parent who hates party planning exactly like me. What I found out is that everybody hates party planning, and it's not easy. And so I've had to turn people away because I don't have a venue on my site that has 500 people that it can hold. And so what I found is that not only are moms using my site, everybody's using my site for party planning. They're doing corporate parties, they're doing bar mitzvahs, they're doing all different types of larger parties that I didn't envision when I first built it, but it's really cool they're using it. So, anybody planning a party?
All right, thank Thank you so much. That's all the time we have for questions. If you didn't get to ask your questions, stick around afterwards.
Thank you so much, Benny Zamore. So I'm going to take a second. We're doing something new starting this week. Now that I say we're past the period of transition, we're not. Trust me, it's been a Wednesday morning. It's fine. We're all here. There's coffee. It's fine. No one was injured. I got injured last week, so we're doing better this week, I think. Okay, so we're doing, I forgot what I was doing up here. We're doing a community spotlight. We're starting a community spotlight, and what that is we're going to bring in one person, organization, whatever, from the community to give you a 2-minute intro on what their organization does, what their event is about, to just keep y'all up to date about what's going on in the community and let you know about some organizations or events you may not otherwise be aware of. That being said, if you have an interest in being the community spotlight at some point, or you know someone who has an organization or event that may be interested, let us know. Send us an email. 1 million. I also didn't remember the email last week. I bet Rod has the email because he's on top of it. I will get you the email if you ask me afterwards. 1millioncupsdallas@gmail.com. Yep, sure, sounds right. If you don't get a response back, just find me and tell me. Oh, I like that stick figure. That second stick figure with the pearls is supposed to be me. I don't know if you can see the resemblance, but we look pretty similar. Okay, so our community spotlight this week is Laura Hyatt with Junior Achievement, so I'm going to invite her up and let her say a few words if you'll help me welcome her to the stage.
Good morning, everyone. I am the VP of Programs and Education for Junior Achievement of Dallas, a 100-year-old institution. We focus on 3 things: financial literacy, work and career readiness, and entrepreneurship, which is where you guys come into play for me. We have high school students and high school teachers who are interested in having entrepreneurs, people who have been in startups, people who have started their own businesses, come and talk to them. And so this is kind of a one-shot deal. It's about 2 hours out of your day. We have several schools in Dallas ISD that we've already hooked up with entrepreneurs. I still have 2 that I'm looking for a match. One is Hillcrest High School, one is Spruce High School. And the high school students are in a variety of courses. There's actually a Texas Education Agency State Board course called Entrepreneurship, and several of them are in that class. And then there's a bunch of other kind of work and career readiness classes that high school students are in. It's a 50-minute session, so really a class period if you tack on about half an hour drive time in the beginning, half an hour drive time at the end. Again, it's about 2 hours out of your day. So I'm really interested in finding out if there's anybody who would like to fill that need. I have some brochures and information on the side, even our annual report. Last year, we impacted about 50,000 students. Since Junior Achievement of Dallas itself has been in existence for 65 years, we have impacted more than 1 million students' lives. So really, I'm interested in having you join us in that impact. There's lots of other volunteer opportunities as well. If you're members of other groups or alumni associations, we have volunteer opportunities in schools for 5 people, 10, 15, 20, even up to 100. We have programs that we run at schools that take 80 to 100 volunteers in a day. But again, for you guys, I really thought that you would be interested in doing what we call our JA launch lesson. And that's all about talking to students about what was the spark for you, what made you want to launch your own business, what was raising capital like, what is HR like. So really giving them an idea as far as what it is like to start a business. That is one of our 3 pillars. So again, my name is Laura Hyatt. I'm the VP of Programs and Education for Junior Achievement of Dallas. Please come and talk to me when you have a few minutes. Thank you very much.
Okay, thank you, Laura. You know, my daughter went to Hillcrest, and she was part of the Junior Achievement, and I appreciate that. I believe the children are our future. Teach them well, and watch them lead the way, right? Okay, so our next presenter today, and she just took off our slide. I believe it is Laura as well, right? Alana Pilar, that's what it was. Okay, are we ready with the slides? I also forgot to mention that 1 Million Cups is an entirely volunteer organization. So all of our organizers and everything are volunteers. So if anyone is interested in getting involved, I mean, we're always welcome to talk to you about how you can get involved and volunteer for the organization. So our next presenter, Aquaponics Urban Community Garden, Alana Pilar. So please stand and give her applause and welcome her to the stage.
Can you hear me okay? I'm excited. Every time I get an opportunity to get a little feedback. My name is Dr. David L. Willis. I am a real estate commercial developer with hearing impairment. Are you good? Okay. Now, as I said, my name is David L. Willis, and I'm a real estate developer here in the city of Dallas. I came from a little town called Hamilton, Texas. My father was a farmer. I worked on the farm for years, ever since I was, I guess, 7 years old. I have 6 sisters, and I have 5 brothers. And I told my father when I got in my car to go to college that I'll never be a farmer again. Now, aquaponics came into my life. What I'm doing right now in the southern sector of Dallas, I have 141 acres of land at the Dallas Executive Airport, where I'm putting in a sports complex that's primarily going to be dealing with children. Okay. Dealing with children and seniors. We're going to have an after-school program where I'm going to be feeding at least 1,000 children a day. I have one apartment that I'm bringing on for seniors where I will have over 250 seniors there as well. The overall project is $336 million, which my company has already raised. And Aquaponics came to me as a way that I wanted to do an after-school program. I would like to talk to the educator about the after-school program. We have the YMCA in Southern Dallas as well. It's going to be part of my program. That facility is 275,000 square feet. So then comes common ground. Aquaponics system use 90% less water, can grow up to 90 times more food. Southern Dallas is a food desert. And I know you know what a food desert is. That's why we don't have access to grocery stores. And the use of quality food and nutritional food is very, very important. So I'll go to the next slide. Problem, children in food deserts have many challenges, very many challenges. Being raised on a farm, I didn't have that. If I wanted something, I just go out there and pull it out of the ground and eat it. But we don't have that same opportunity. In areas, especially with low-income residents that has limited access to affordable and nutritional food. You know, we have Whole Foods in the northern sector. We don't have a Whole Food in the southern sector. But with aquaponics, it will give us an opportunity to have quality food, nutritional food. The solutions, common ground, aquaponics, urban community garden. Well, Alana, she came up with that. We were going to put a nature reserve there. Now I decided that if I'm going to be feeding over 1,000 kids a day, I'm going to turn that nature center into an aquaponics center and also into a garden. We would teach kids another way to feed their families. Aquaponics will feed their hearts, mind, body, and soul. You know, that's very, very important for the children. A storage container greenhouse will allow us to make the most vitamin-rich and nutritional dense foods. Kids yoga. You know, we didn't do yoga on the farm, but we're going to do it in the urban setting. We're going to show them how the intrinsic property ties in foods, making healthy food choices. You know, I taught at university for 6 years, and I taught public schools for 1 year. One thing that I learned, a hungry child can't learn if his stomach is growling. A hungry child needs nutritional food every day. Everybody who ate this morning, everybody in there, right? There are some kids that don't get that opportunity. An amphitheater project, we're going to give them movies and Saturday nights out. Discovery Center, every child that comes to the garden will learn about aquaponics. And I'm going to let Atlanta tell you exactly what aquaponics is here in a minute. They make their own system using mason jars and, I didn't get the last part, Japanese vitamin, thank you. Reading nooks and free library. We want to provide education. That's one of the reasons that we're doing the after school program as well, to make sure that kids get tutoring, they get access to tutors and mentors along the way. Tea station, more tea, less drama. Children activity, 5 annual festivals. Garden pet rabbits, you know, we have a thing with our seniors, we call, thank you. We have a thing with our seniors that we call it intergenerational, where the children get an opportunity to talk with the seniors. And a pet garden is the same. We bring in pets to come in and for the seniors as well. Is that the last slide? Yeah. So with that, we want to give an explanation exactly what aquaponics is and the closure.
Aquaponics is a farming system that uses traditional farming, instead of traditional farming with the land. I think they did a study in the 60s and they got a C-. So that's if you think you have iron when you're eating broccoli, you have being cultural. But with aquaponics, it's a solution, anything you get fish, be in the food supply base. Yeah. So that's aquaponics. And the way you're able to grow more food using the storage container greenhouses is by using linear aquaponics. It uses the space from the floor to the ceiling. Thank you so much. We will now open up the floor for questions. Our first question to you is always, what can we as a community do for you? Well, I have an in-kind donation list and I'm getting ready to start working with books. The kids need tons of books for the free library. I know where we're at. Yeah, but yeah. All right. And more feedback, yeah. And feedback. Excellent. And resources, yeah. Okay. Plenty of things to help out with. We'll go to the audience for questions. If you have a question, raise your hand and we will come around to you with the mic.
Okay, there you go.
I have a lot of good ideas for you guys.
Nice.
First of all, a great presentation. So my first thought was, this would be great for like a work study for high school. Sometimes they have courses where they could leave the school for, 2 hours and actually work. They could work at the tea cafe. They could, work with the kids. And so that might be something good to consider. For the books, I would recommend, it's called Friends of the Library. I know for me, it's like Friends of the Plano Library up there. They have an annual sale. And they'll sell like bags of books for like, $3 or whatever. So it's a really great deal. And I have lots of good things, but I'll turn it over.
I was curious, I heard mention of a shipping container, so it sounds like, my question would be, how are you guys looking to scale? Like, are you guys just keeping it in Irving, or is this something y'all are going to be like introducing to other cities? And then like I said, it sounds like y'all putting it in a shipping container, which sounds rather scalable. So I guess that would be my my question is like, are you guys planning on taking what you're doing in Irving, if it's successful, you know, into other cities?
Yeah, the storage containers, Elon Musk, that's Nikola Tesla's son, he's created storage containers specific for aquaponics. So you can grow the most nutrient-dense, vitamin-rich foods possible. And they're also very inexpensive, very inexpensive. The kids can't go in the greenhouse, so that's why the Discovery Center will be formed, so they can learn what aquaponics is, and then each of them make their own little systems. But yeah, and then, what were you saying again, I'm sorry?
No, yeah, that was pretty much the question.
Yeah.
So that's cool.
And then, yeah, I would like it to be a pilot program. You're absolutely right. It'd be a pilot program. There should be similar gardens in every city. In the country, as a matter of fact. Yes.
So, true to Kimball Musk's system, does that mean you're going to be able to actually employ high schoolers to work inside the greenhouses like he's doing in New York?
Yeah, and actually there's a way to align the garden with the Department of Labor and to create like an apprenticeship, hospitality and management apprenticeship program. And these kids, if they work 144 hours, by the time they graduate, if they start at age 12, they won't be in line for minimum wage positions. That's a great opportunity for our kids. No minimum wage for our kids. Yeah, so they can work 144 hours, and like she was saying, they can work in the tea station. They can't work in the greenhouse. Maybe they can work the app. You can get an app in your phone, you can control the temperature in that in the greenhouse. But they can work, we're going to have a food truck to feed the homeless, wraps and smoothies, and the elderly. And they can work in food prep and doing that.
Wonderful.
So yeah.
And
They can work in the Discovery Center doing tours, because I want to bring the schools and have them do field trips. That way you get a lot of kids in at one time. So they can do that as well.
Okay. And then are you looking for grants from foundations? Are you able to take on foundation grants with the way you're set up?
Yeah, because I want the greenhouse to be for-profit, but the garden itself to be non-profit. Okay. And it to run like an aquaponics system with one side taking care of the other, because those mason jars are going to get expensive. Each child is making their own system.
Perfect.
Yeah. Thank you.
Other questions in the audience?
So great. I love that this is available to South Dallas. Are you planning with the products you're making or the food that you're making? You said for profit. Are you selling it there in the space? Are you guys outsourcing that to the grocery stores or convenience stores? How are you guys getting that accessible to the people?
Well, one of the reasons that I got interested in it is because we're going to have 35,000 square feet of retail for restaurants right there. And we're going to have 2 standalone restaurants. And also I've already partnered with Mike Carnes, who owns, he has, I don't know if y'all ever had his Stuffers or like that. So we're going to be able to sell the food as well. But for me, the interest was primarily on the children and the seniors, which would be on our campus. We're anticipating also with our campus to have about 2 million people a year come to it. But we will be selling it as well.
All right, we have time for a few more questions. And I have a question. As far as curriculum and the things that the children will be learning, what's your plan for that, specifically with local to Texas, or if you plan to expand to other cities? How will you handle the curriculum as far as native plants and things like that?
Yeah, one of the classes that I want to make sure I have is the intrinsic properties of foods. That's like learning your basics. So every time you feed your body, it's an opportunity to give your body what it needs. If you have a cold, eat some garlic. If you have a sore throat, eat some ginger. If you have some acne, eat some blueberries, stuff like that. And then the heart-mind-body relationship, stress breathing, the yoga. Is that what you're saying? Yeah, things like that. Things like that. You can't just change the way a kid eats. You have to change their heart, their mind, their body, and their little spirit. And that's the 5 holistic classes that I want to have. And I want to offer those free, as a matter of fact.
Great presentation, and I really love the cause and everything behind it. So are you looking to replicate this in other areas? I know you're doing this in South Dallas around the Redbird
But Dallas is taking it over.
Okay.
I'm also taking it to other cities as well. Okay. Right now, from here, we're going to go to Fort Worth, Kaufman, Texas, Oklahoma City, then eventually to Denver, Colorado.
Okay.
Yeah.
And someone mentioned sort of native plants. Is this a system that you can grow anything?
Yeah, you can grow anything. You can grow herbs. There's 3 ways to give your body things. I think it's through your skin. So you can grow products that people use that are making lotions and shampoos and things like that, and of course the food that you eat. But yeah, you can grow anything. And also the sponges that collect the waste. Because when you use aquaponics system, all the roots can't always be in the water. And some collect the waste. Those sponges can actually help farmers who are using traditional farming systems get the nutrients back into the ground. So it's multifaceted.
All right, we have time for one more question.
Thank you. I couldn't tell where you're at today. I mean, what's been done, what's built, what's not built? Where are you at?
Well, as far as I've gone through an RFP process with the city of Dallas, we anticipate winning that RFP any day now. Once we do that, we'll start construction at the end of this year on the sports facility, which will house, like I said earlier, the YMCA. It's a 5-year project, but the aquaponics system will go in immediately once we start development. We're going to be building, just to give you an overall look at it, we're going to be doing 275,000 square foot athletic facility, a 350 hotel. We're putting in an office building, 3 apartments. We got a contract with the Dallas Tennis Association, so it's going to be huge. We've already raised the money, and now we're just waiting on the city of Dallas. Once that happens, it's a 5-year process. The reason I got involved with it again is because of my emphasis on children and also seniors as well.
So that's an RFP for that's an RFP for the use of the property?
Well, I'm doing a 39.5-year lease and 3 10-year options, roughly 70 years.
All right, that's all the time we have for questions. Thank you so much.
All right, thank you so much for the presentations. We'd like to thank our sponsors today. We have Stuart Matthews, who is our video sponsor. He's the one recording back here. He has an audiovisual company, so we appreciate him. Our venue host, the Capital Factory and the DEC. I believe that there's going to be a Capital Factory tour. If anyone's interested, if you've never been inside the space here, it's a co-working space that you could actually rent an office space here. And they do have free co-working on Wednesdays. So when you do attend here, you sign in at the desk and you can use the facility all day if you'd like. The DEC. We have a representative here, and I'd love for her to come up and talk a little bit about what the DEC does. They're actually the ones that have sponsored the 1 Million Cups and actually brought it to Dallas.
Hi everyone, my name is Delaney Majors. I work here at the deck. I help with events, marketing, operations, all that kind of good stuff. So here we are dedicated to the economic success and innovation of our city. We do that through supporting our entrepreneurs through events like this, events like Dallas Startup Week, connections, networking, mentor opportunities, and community advocacy. So we're here to help any entrepreneurs get involved, get connected, find the resources they need. So if you're interested in that, please let me know and I can help you guys get connected, whether it be in an innovation hub like this or through events and networking and mentoring opportunities. So I'd be happy to talk to you guys. Thanks.
All right, so that's all the program that we have for you today. We really appreciate you coming. Please let other people know so we can fill the room even more. And see you next week on Wednesday. Thank you.